It's not the ball with the How's it hitting you, old folks? How do you take this humidity? I think it's very good. Yeah, your shirt. Oh, it's turn the air conditioner up. Yeah. Look at this stuff. Keep that door thing.
Every policeman lives two lives. Off duty, he dresses like everybody else and prefers to be thought of as one more representative of John Q. Public. But once he puts on the authority and the obligations of a police job, he becomes a marked man. In uniform or out of it, he must learn to live and work under pressures few people outside his profession know or understand. This is a film about these pressures as they are experienced by four men. Jack Morris knows how to laugh at himself, but he's also a perfectionist. Almost every Monday night, he and his three sons play pool together, and the boys have learned a lot from their father.
I believe a man ought to learn whatever he sets his hand to properly, right from the start. I don't care if it's playing pool or whatever it is.
Jack's partner is Fred McPherson, who grew up in a small town in the West. Fred's never quite got used to big city ways. He likes to garden, but he'd much rather hunt or go fishing.
My father-in-law is a carpenter from the old country. We built this house together. Now my wife Vivian and I both work to help pay off the mortgage. We don't have any children, but it still takes two paychecks to keep things up the way we both want them.
Our third man is Jim Sweeney. There are plenty of children around Jim's house, four of them his. The rest just collect from all over the neighborhood.
Sure they make noise. Gosh, mine do too. It can bother you sometimes, but like when I'm working nights. If you start letting things like that bug you too much, you can go off your rocker. You've got to learn to live and let live.
Jim's partner is John Martin. John grew up in a poor city neighborhood, so he works especially hard to get the best of everything for his children. And yet, he's often troubled with doubts about what he's doing for them.
I know, if kids don't learn how to make out on their own, they're headed for trouble. They've even got to learn to do without things sometime. I've talked a lot about this to my boy Mick. I wish I knew how much got through to him.
These four quite different men who tell our story have one thing in common. They are all policemen with at least 15 years of service out on the street.
In police work, you do get exposed to physical danger. Now, for myself, I think I need this sort of thing. I guess I'm like my favorite uncle, who's town marshal, where I grew up out west. That car wasn't there last time.
Let's get it.
Come on out. Come on. Against the door. Come on, hands up.
All right, that's far enough. Let's go. Come on down. Come on. Real easy. Easy, I said. You're up.
I don't mind the physical risks you run into, but something I actually like about police work is helping to make the jigsaw puzzle fit together.
No, hell, that was as a juvenile. How about recently? 3 burglaries? CCW?
Get his CPD number for me.
CPD number? 482-391. How about last arrest? 430-63. Okay. Oh, hold on a minute, please.
We got a good one for you. 3 convictions.
If you don't have the patience it takes to get this kind of detail, you'll find you've got no place in police work, no matter how good you are with a gun.
Just a minute.
How about run a check on this sawed-off shotgun? Springfield make, serial number 538-4912.
Beaten pretty soon after I finish this one.
Well, hurry up, get caught up, will you? What the... Hey, wait, look.
some identification, man.
Take it out yourself.
Whose car is this, Jim?
Mine.
You letting the fellow over there drive? What's his name?
My brother, Bill.
Hey, Bob, what are you doing out this late?
Just riding around with some of my buddies.
Your dad know you're out?
No.
Has Mickey been with you? Tonight at all?
No, I haven't seen him all day.
How about you, fella? Where do you live?
Whose car is it, Thomas?
It's my dad's.
It's your dad's? You got the registration?
No.
Where is it?
Home, I guess.
You guess. You're not sure?
No, I don't know where it keeps.
Wait a minute. John, watch him for a second. I want to get a check on this.
Come over here, man.
What's your name, lad?
Bill.
Bill what?
Thomas.
Where do you know Bobby here from?
Go to school with him.
Is he one of your friends? These are friends you and Mickey hang around with?
No.
I never saw him around the neighborhood.
104 to Central. You give us a listing and a check, please. On P for Paul, B for Barney.
You been doing any drinking at all?
No.
No, you smell like you have.
Well,
Listen, we're going to give you a break. I'm going to let you go home, but we're going to give your buddy a ticket.
Hey, John, it's a hot one.
Oh, my God. Get up against the car, fellas. Turn around, put your hands up on the car. Come on, Bobby, you too.
Very good arrest, fellas. Want to congratulate you. Don't forget, you still got 2 hours on the street.
Oh, okay. Let's hit it.
Getting personally involved with the people whom one must arrest can't be avoided sometimes. But the truly professional policeman follows procedures that keep such occasions to a minimum. When issuing a traffic citation, for instance, he asks for license and registration, states the offense, then leaves the driver to cool off while he returns to his own car to make out the ticket, undisturbed by the driver's attempts to argue or talk his way out of the situation. Meanwhile, the officer's partner stands guard, the patrol car placed so it can give protection from oncoming traffic.
Mr. Federico, this is your citation. This is your personal bail that you will be in court on the 5th of July at 8:45 a.m. Will you sign this, please?
Well, I don't know why. I explained to you I couldn't get out of that lane.
Want to see how personally involved you can get?
I had to stop for that white car that was right in front of me.
Lady, there was no white car in front of you.
There certainly was, officer. Don't tell me. I know what I saw. It was a white station wagon.
Lady, there was no white station wagon there. There are 2 stop signs
Officer,
back there. You may have stopped for the first one. You did not stop for the second one.
Officer, you don't have to give me a lecture. I did not stop. I did stop at that sign. I didn't see the sign you're talking
Lady,
about.
you were right the first time. You did
Now
not.
she's in charge. And doesn't he look silly?
You're going to jail and your car will be
You're
impounded.
not taking me
You
anywhere,
most certainly
officer.
are going, and you're going now.
No patrolman can possibly guess what's coming up next. Some find this uncertainty adds to the job's interest. All find that it builds up tension. Nowadays, even the most routine call can involve the patrolman in something that adds up to thousands of dollars.
With so much money at stake, I guess it's only natural for people to tell us just what's favorable to them. But after a few years of hearing this kind of thing, you get pretty cynical about everybody if you aren't careful.
Well, I'll tell you something else you've got to watch out for. You see situations like this day after day. After a while, you get so used to them, you start forgetting that for the people involved, it's most probably the biggest thing in their lives. If you sound bored or offhand, they're going to resent it, and they'll hold a grudge against the whole department.
People can be pretty unreasonable sometimes. Almost everybody's got some form of prejudice. For example, on the edge of our patch, there's a nice neighborhood that's trying to keep hillbillies from moving in. So we get a complaint every time the hill kids start playing in the park. Sometimes the kids are doing things they shouldn't. But if they're behaving themselves, they have just as much right to be in that neighborhood as anyone else. We aren't making ourselves popular with the property owners when we take this attitude. But if I wanted to win popularity contests, I wouldn't have been a policeman in the first place.
But if you own property in a neighborhood like this the way my mom and dad do, then it's a lot harder to take an impartial attitude. I'll admit I've got prejudices, and it's a real strain trying to handle a situation impartially when you feel one side or the other is 100% wrong.
And I don't know, I guess the man, I don't know what happened.
Some of the things you see in this business can turn your stomach in no time flat if you let them. And yet, it'd amaze you to see how the public will flock around when there's anything like this going on. Maybe some of them think we're lucky because we get a real close look. I don't know. The more you're in this business, the more you begin to think the whole world's a pretty mixed up place.
This old man had been dead for a week before anyone noticed. Now all his neighbors are acting like they care what happens to him. Well, maybe some of them do care. But one thing you can bet on, whatever we police do, there's 1,000 eyes watching us.
I see any card yet.
I had to get used to this feeling of being watched all the time. But after 19 years on the job, I've learned to ignore it.
Nothing.
God almighty, the things that you see. A lot of the times you're really not equipped to handle a situation, but the public expects you to take charge. So you do, somehow.
When I first joined the force, I thought policemen spent most of their time catching burglars, solving crime, stuff like that. Instead, we spend most of our time playing nursemaid. If nobody else wants the job, then who gets it? I'll give you one guess. But it makes the day pass.
There's one thing you can say about police work. It's not routine. You can answer a call and hear a man's whole life story before you get through. People can break your heart if you let them. I know I shouldn't do it, but every time I handle a case where there's little children involved, or there's been a family breakup, I think, oh my God, it could be me or mine.
Handling family quarrels isn't the kind of work that gets your name in the papers or much credit back at headquarters. But it's one of the most important jobs we do. Most crimes of violence begin with spats like this. Now you've got to learn to handle them without getting caught in the middle. A lot of policemen have got themselves killed this way.
That man worked at the television station.
I guess I've made my worst mistakes when I've been working under the pressure of time. For example, we got the call to pick up this mental patient a half hour before we were due to go off duty. So we tried to hurry him along.
And I saw him take his fist and hit the window, and he's just bleeding. Jimmy, I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe you should take him to the hospital. Jimmy, keep yourself together now. Don't act like that, Jimmy.
The wagon men who got the call with us were in a hurry too. And in about a minute, all of us were in a mess up to our armpits.
Please don't hurt him. That's my husband. Jimmy, don't do this. Jimmy, don't. Officer, don't hurt him. Please don't hurt him. Jimmy. Jimmy, don't hurt him. Please don't hurt him. Oh, Jimmy.
Let her up there.
Don't, Jimmy.
All right, up.
I don't think that man's family or neighbors will ever forget what they saw that day. I know I won't forget it. 2 days later, Jack and I handled a commitment that could have been just as messy if we'd let it get out of hand. Believe me, women can be just as difficult to handle as men.
I ain't been bothering nobody.
What's your name, ma'am? This one had been exhibiting strange behavior for several days. We talked with her quietly for a long time before we made the first attempt to get her to move. By then, we'd made her feel we weren't siding against her, but that we meant what we said. Handling people like this does take time. You're seeing only a minute or so of the half hour we took to get her as far as the car.
When I first joined the force, I thought you had to yell at people and frighten them to get them to do things. Now I've found that all you have to do is talk to them and show them a little respect. Now, I'm not saying you can make hard and fast rules about anything in this business. Most of the time, you're working in the dark in more ways than one.
Now, what is it?
White brown.
Boy, can people fool you. Take these two lost kids we picked up the other night. Their story was that some big boys had stolen their bus money. So we gave them a ride home. It turns out they cooked up the whole story to get out of a beating they thought might be waiting for them at home for being out so late. A policeman gets a close view of the lurid side of life, all right. Some of the characters you meet in this business can trap you into all sorts of trouble, both at home and on the job, if you don't watch your step.
So you do a good, conscientious job all night long. Maybe make a good pinch. And what happens? You end up in court the next morning when you could have been home sacked out.
What are you doing up so late, Nick? Come on up to bed. Where's Mom, in the kitchen?
Yeah. We're still going tomorrow, aren't we, Dad?
Nope, gotta go to court.
Oh, John, no.
What, again?
Yes, again, now get to bed.
Hey, Nick, are we going fishing tomorrow? Well, aren't we?
No, we're not.
Why?
'Cause Dave's a cop.
Well, we almost made it tonight, Cheryl.
What happened this time?
We got a drunken driver.
Every time we make plans, you have to go to court.
What do you want me to do, look the other way?
No.
I tell you a million times, don't plan with the kids for anything because they think I'm the goat. You can see the reaction of Donald and Mickey already. They think I don't want to go anywhere. It's me. Don't make any plans. You can call Uncle Bill, Uncle Frank, and tell them to forget everything.
All right, but I hate to disappoint the children.
Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I didn't have two jobs. We're allowed to work 20 hours a week on the outside, and I need that money to buy the little extras for my kids that all the neighbors do. But I'll admit, there have been times when I went on a late shift after a day on the dock so tired, my partner had to do the looking around for both of us. Sometimes I think, what the hell? I make more money pushing freight than I do as a policeman. But man, I'd hate to think of spending the rest of my life at any routine job. I just don't care how much it paid.
I don't want that.
I wouldn't do that job for $1 million.
I'll be frank with you. I enjoy my extra job. Maybe I need the change. But it sure played hell with my home life. I'm divorced now, and I see my boys one night a week. This is a poor arrangement at best, for all of us, and financially, well, I'm in as much of a hole right now as I ever was. It's too late to think about it, I guess. But what I was trying to do was buy happiness for my family on the installment plan, instead of learning to live content on what we had.
Sometimes I think the greatest hazard of a police job is the fact that your wife could get almost unlimited credit. The merchants all know they can complain to the department if you get too far behind. And man, how they push their advantage.
Easy credit's a trap, all right. You get into debt way over your head. And then it's damned hard to say no to somebody who wants to do you a favor. Believe me, there are always people around who want to do a policeman a favor. Maybe I'm too cynical, but after 15 years on the street, I've learned to be suspicious of everybody when it comes to this sort of thing.
107, call the first district.
Most patrolmen these days spend the greater part of their working hours driving or sitting in a prowl car. This has introduced the new occupational hazard, physical and mental lethargy.
I'll go along with that, all right. It was a lot different back when I was walking a beat. Then you just naturally got to know people. You met all kinds, not just the crooks or the ones making complaints, the way we're liable to now. It gave you a different feeling about people and about your job.
There's no reason why you can't meet people in the same way now. Jimmy and I do that all the time. I'll admit you have to make a little more of an effort. When you stick in a car, you have a tendency to stay grouchy and think the whole world's against you. But when you really get to know the folks in your patch, they seem a lot different.
There's good and there's bad in every neighborhood. Take a look at our patch, for example. We're right in the heart of the bloody 5th District. We call it the combat zone. It has the highest crime rate in the city. And yet 80 to 90% of the people in the 5th District are law-abiding citizens who need our protection. They're people who are doing their best to keep up their houses and raise their children to some kind of standard in spite of what goes on around them. Of course, part of my job is knowing the crooks and keeping an eye on them. But if I forget there are good people here too and treat them accordingly, I'm not doing my job as a policeman. If you start treating all kids as delinquents because they happen to live in a neighborhood where delinquency is high, you're encouraging the very thing you're supposed to be fighting. I always try to remember that for these kids I represent not just the law in their block, but the whole city government. The way they feel about me now is beginning to determine how they will feel about law and order in general a few years from now.
My partner and I are pretty fortunate. We live and work in a nice part of town. But you still can't just assume everybody's going to respect you because you have on a uniform. If you don't stay friendly with the people, then you don't have much of a chance to find out about the trouble ahead of time. And yet you've got to learn to keep your distance a little.
People are always suspicious, even your neighbors and friends. They see you in a bar and right away they say you're cadging a free drink. Hell, it's our duty to check out places like that. They see you stop for a coffee, and right away, they say you're freeloading on the city's time. What the hell, don't they take a coffee break? You've got to get some fun out of life.
Boy, people are funny. One policeman gets accused of making a mistake, and we all get blamed, no matter how far away it happens. Your best friends kid you about it. I try to laugh with them, but it hurts. Even Mickey starts asking all sorts of questions.
Every police officer must expect this kind of group blame for individual misdeeds. And there is another kind of publicity every policeman and his family must learn to accept.
This is a job that can get to you if you don't watch yourself. You're under pressure all through the shift, and then you've got to relax. Too many of us relax by stopping by the nearest tavern for a couple of cold ones. After a while, you find you're fighting a habit that's damn hard to control. I wouldn't be surprised if booze hasn't killed a lot more policemen than bullets.
As a policeman, you see so much that's wrong and rotten in this world that you've got to get away from it once in a while. When you do, you start getting a different view of your job. It's not all bad. Once in a while, you get an assignment that makes your family really feel proud of you.
I wish I had more education. I had a couple of years of college. I had 14 weeks of basic training in our police academy, and we get refresher courses from time to time. I'm a lot better able to handle things than, say, my uncle, who's still town marshal out west. But police work is getting more professionalized all the time. We work right along with the nurses and doctors and lawyers, social workers. The public's beginning to expect us to measure up to professional standards ourselves. I'm glad to see this. We talk a lot about the public not appreciating all the hard work we policemen do. But they aren't going to change much until we change, until we start thinking of ourselves as professional men and acting like it. When you're tired, you start asking yourself, what's in it for me anyway? There's not much glory, thanks, or high pay. I can tell you. But there's something about this job that's right for me. I don't think I'd want to do anything else.